Hey Cornerstone, thanks for joining us this week on The Connection. Two things we want to cover this week. First, we'll do a quick update from the business meeting this last Sunday, and then we'll continue to talk about our core values. This week we're on intentional outreach. Great business meeting, great lunch this last Sunday. Thanks all so much for your participation, and thanks for bringing some delicious food. That was good, and it was great to be able to just sit down and enjoy lunch together as a church family. We're planning a couple more of those for the summer, so stay tuned for more info on that. In terms of the business meeting, it was great to hear reports from the ministry leaders of how God has been at work and what they're hoping for in the upcoming year, and to take some time and pray for the ministries of Cornerstone. Also on the business side, we passed the budget for this coming year, so that's good. And we also passed a motion to start to take some intentional steps toward finding a permanent physical location for our ministry to meet in. Now, there was a really high level of support on that, and that was encouraging all around. But it wasn't unanimous. So I just want to encourage you, if you have questions, if you have reservations, please reach out to myself, reach out to one of the elders. We're excited for this direction. We believe it'll advance the ministry of Cornerstone, but we also recognize that it's a big decision that you might want to talk about, and we would love to hear from you. Now, as we think about our core values and intentional outreach, one of the key things that we need to remember with outreach is this. We need to remember that we can't count on people coming to us. We have to go to them. This is true for the church. This is true for service organizations of all stripes in the community. This is true for companies trying to go ahead and tell people about their products. That's what outreach is all about. Outreach is going out to others to reach out to them. This is what we see all through Acts with the church on the move. The church is going out there, reaching out to tell others the good news of Christ. Now, as we go out, there are three ways that people tend to go out. There's more, but to put them in big categories, sometimes people go out combative. It has to be this way. You must agree. Looking for an argument, looking for a fight, looking to win. That's not how we reach out. The other way that people go out is to convince and to have their points logically in order so that somebody else will believe the things that the first person wants them to believe. Certainly as we go, we proclaim the gospel, and there are truths that we proclaim. But this too isn't our primary mode. As we reach out, what we want to be doing, what we need to be doing is serving, asking, what do you need? How can I help? How can we as Cornerstone help? And we look to start here. So the question, Cornerstone, that we've been talking about is, where do the resources that Cornerstone has, knowledge, time, ideas, energy, where do those resources meet up with a need in the community or an area for improvement in the community? And how can we connect that need with our provision and do outreach, reach out toward others for their good and for the sake of the gospel? You know, for a lot of organizations, the church as a whole and Cornerstone included, this has become more difficult in the last years. COVID and the transition and the stress doesn't naturally lend itself to outreach. So it's fallen a little bit by the wayside. But we have a core value of intentional outreach as Cornerstone. And when we aren't leaning into that, when we aren't living that out, we're not really being who we want to be. So we want to continue to lean into, continue to seek to live out our core value of intentional outreach. One way that I see this happening right now, and some things that are brewing, Camp Cornerstone, they're partnering with a memory care place to do some service, to do some outreach as a part of Camp Cornerstone. That's a cool thing to see. I'm also hearing ideas starting to bubble up from the congregation, and that's exciting also. Three things you can do. First, pray. God, help us. God, give us energy, give us ideas, give us passion. Help us to see where our provision meets with the needs in our community. God, help us, we pray. Second thing we do, we observe. We just have our eyes open. As we're at the grocery store, as we're in our neighborhoods, where could Cornerstone reach out? Where could Cornerstone serve? And third, I want to encourage you to talk. Start talking with each other. Start talking with leadership. Conversations of, hey, I had this idea. I was at the grocery store. I saw this thing. And what if we, or there's this other thing over here. And what would it look like if we as Cornerstone start to talk with each other? See what can bubble up. See what God would bring together. Cornerstone, we believe in going out to our community, both locally and globally, to spread the gospel and to help those in need. Intentional outreach is a part of our core. It's a part of who we are. Let's lean into it. Quick programming note, no Cornerstone Connection next week, so we'll see you this coming Sunday, and we'll see you here on The Connection in 2 weeks. Thanks much. Have a great day.